And now it's really getting unstuck. Welcome back to Living with a Classic, and we're here with my daily driver, 1975 XJ6, which sadly is broken. Has a blown head gasket, seems to be on cylinder 2 and 1, and hopefully the issue is just incorrectly torqued by whoever built this before. It wasn't built by me, and hopefully that's it. And also some incorrect nuts, which you'll see in a little bit, but hopefully that is the only issue. We can actually get this thing back together and on the road again. If you want to see how we got here, there are videos on the channel of diagnosing the issue. We went in with a little camera and it looks like it's leaking into cylinder 1 and 2. We also checked that it is putting out combustion gases in the coolant, so yeah, it is bad. I don't have, I'm out of two things: funds and time. I have a lot of customer cars to work on. So we're going to do this quickly here on the weekend. It's going to get started this morning, but you know what happens? It's afternoon. But let's see if we can still get the cylinder head off quickly and just have a look at that. Hopefully it wants to come off. We will use bottle jacks and all those tricks, but hopefully it will come off pretty easily. Another thing, if you want to see a fun adventure of getting this car in here during a snowstorm with a tractor and everything, you should check out the first video on my new channel. I'll link it down below. It's a sister channel to this one where you get to see more behind the scenes things. It's just extra content, extra fun stuff. That's also, that channel launched yesterday. So yeah, check it out if you want to. It's free and should be some good stuff. All right, let me open the bonnet, show you guys what's going on, and then see if we can get this head off. So here you have those weird nuts which are not correct. So I've always wondered about this, but I've never done anything about it because this engine's run fine for about 4 years. So yeah, we have the issue now. What I'm going to start with is we're going to drain out the coolant, and then I actually want to start with removing these nuts, because once you get them off, there's studs left, and then we can spray some penetrating fluid down the studs and let that sit while we remove exhaust manifolds. I'm going to remove the carbs, but we're going to keep the manifold on there just because a friend of mine who had his engine before, he had issues with the manifold leaking, and he stuck it on there pretty well with I don't know what. It doesn't want to come off too easily, so if you don't have to take that off, that's great. If we find that the cylinder head needs to go to the machine shop, yeah, then that will be a future problem. But it's not really that much to remove. It's cam covers, it's the breather for the PCV system, and then you can start to get into, timing chain tensioner. We'll get all that undone. We'll remove the exhaust manifolds and the heat shield and everything. Should be pretty straightforward, but let me get some things to just start, see if we can get these undone. Hopefully they won't spin in the bottom, because if they do, that's really bad. These we can actually spray down now with some penetrating fluid. The other ones, I don't know, we might heat them up or do something. I haven't really made up my mind yet. I usually undo these with like an impact, just because these are studs and they're threaded down all the way in the bottom of the block. We don't want it to come undone. I don't have any, but I might have some laying around, but I don't want to replace core plugs. Let's just put it that way. So we're going to try and get it with the windy gun, these ones that we can do. And if I notice that a stud is starting to move, we'll stop, figure things out. We might heat it up, I don't know. But let's start from the outside, working our way in, and let's see what happens. Okay, that one came off. I don't care where washers and things were before, because I'm not putting things back stock. I'm going to put the lifting hooks where they're supposed to be and do a lot of other things. And then we're going to measure before we take it apart. But like I said, I do hope that whoever put this together actually stuck those studs in I almost like to put them with Loctite in the bottom because you want to be able to take these engines apart. All right. That is good. So you see the issue is the lifting hook is all the way here. Can't even get anything on it. I want that somewhere else. But that will be a problem when we put this together. That one doesn't want to. Come on. That one wants to. Let's try one of these. Okay, good. This is all coming apart pretty well, actually. It's just that one. We might heat that one. That one's coming off. We'll get the induction heater out. We'll heat these two and see if we get those to come off. Let's see. It's this one, right? There's a question for you guys. I haven't made up my mind, or kind of have. This is an early Series 1 engine, which means it takes a separate sort of gasket for cam covers. They're different, which also means that early cam covers, you know, like on the E-Type and the Mark II, the polished ones, they fit on this engine. And I have a set on a parts car. And sure, we could polish them up and stick them on eBay, make some money. Or we could put them on here. Let me know in the comments down below, would that look cool? I think it would. We might not like polish them perfectly, but we'll, you know, sand them a bit, make them look nice. I don't know. This is a driver that, of course, I won't polish that much, but just wipe them down with WD-40. I think it should stay pretty nice. Be a cool upgrade. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'll put that there and give it another go. That really doesn't want to come off, that one. Okay, let's get break apart. I wonder if that was at the bottom. Oh, look at all the coolant coming up. That one. Let's try this again. That one is really stuck. I think that might be a nut that is bottomed out. I guess we'll find out. Should have drained the coolant first. This is a stud winding up. I don't like that. I'm going to look through my parts, see how many spare acorn nuts I have. If so, we'll ram that one in again, and then we'll use like a Dremel or something and cut that nut off so that we leave the stud in place, because I'm really not liking what's happening at the moment. I've worked that one back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and actually got it to come out finally. It was smoking when it came out as well, so that is good. This stud might be a little high. When we get the head off, we'll try and get that down. But if I have to remove one core plug, that's okay. Let me see, there's one washer left. And so the studs on the ends, they only go down into the top of the block. The other ones go all the way down. And what you want is for them to be loose, because they're going to be covered with crud and things. And you have the similar metals here. So aluminum, and you have steel. And then what happens is, yeah, lack of coolant changes and other things will just make it so these are really stiff. So some of these are very stiff, and some of them, like that one, you can move. That's really good. So what we're going to do is we're just going to start with WD-40. That's why I'm doing this first, because I want that to pour down all of them, give us a fighting chance. Still going to use jacks and everything. You see the coolant that came up between there. That's actually a pretty good sign if coolant came up there, because that means that things are not usually stuck. It's not completely uncommon for these engines that when they're put together and they're brand new, for there to be slight coolant leaks coming up here, because this goes through the coolant jacket. What I do is I put some sealant, like some polymer blue that doesn't cure, on that washer there, and that helps a bit. Now, time to drain the coolant, which I should have done before. I think we'll drain the oil as well. And then cam covers off, carbs off. Just remove a lot of things. Things are going pretty well. The worst part is really the exhaust manifolds. They're off. A couple things I'm have to not forget is, of course, the oil feed benchables up here. I'll have to undo those. Be a little careful. Remember that the threads are not that great on this head. Then we have the 6 nuts up top or up front. Then we're going to have to rotate it over and get the cam tool in place. Set everything TDC. I'm also very, very interested to see if this engine is aligned correctly, because one thing about this engine is it's always been slightly lumpy at idle, but really smooth otherwise. So I've always wondered if the cam timing is off a tiny bit. So we'll have a look at that as well. And then I have a couple of hoses to undo on the other side. Carbs are off, as you saw, leaving the intake on. Then I can start getting the bottle jacks and start lifting this whole thing. I've been lining up the cam timing. So what I've done is I've set it to 0 degrees, so it's TDC down there. And this is a cam alignment tool. And it fits perfectly on the intake cam. But on the exhaust cam, we're off. And that's what I wondered the whole time about this engine. It's slightly lumpy. So I think the exhaust timing is slightly off. It doesn't really matter right now. We're pulling it apart, but when I put it back together, we will change that. At least that's the plan. So we got 2 little nuts to undo there on each of the camshafts. Get the timing chains off. You've seen that a ton of times here on the channel. Before that, we're going to loosen the tension down there. And then it's all actually loose. We can start putting the bottle jacks in place and see if the head will lift off. I have rotated over quite a few times just to double check that I was right. So it's on TDC down there. And we also will double check TDC later when it is apart. But that camshaft intake one lines up perfectly. That one is off by quite a bit. The interesting thing is whoever had this apart before, made notches here. They line up perfectly there, and they line up where that camshaft should be, but it's not correct. Now I have removed the locking wire in here and removed, rolled it over 180, removed one of the bolts, rolled it over again. I'll remove this bolt, I'll remove the sprocket over, and there's a locking spring clip in here, and then I will try and move everything so we set this camshaft off correctly before we take it apart, so that will be easier when we put it all back together. That took way too long, so I brought a spare one just to show you, and also to make myself not feel crazy, because it was stuck on there. So this is a cam sprocket, and this bit is loose. There is a big circlip in here, and that is so that if the cam timing is off, you see how it's finely toothed all the way around, you can adjust it. I was trying to get that to come off here, and it just would not budge. I was about to give up and say, we'll do it when the head is off, and well, I moved it all up to here, and I used a bigger hammer, and now it's all loose and separated. Well, I will use a pair of ice grips, and I'll move the cam into position, then we'll line up the holes and everything, and hopefully we actually have good cam timing now. But well, you know what it looks like. That's a good thing about having spares, so I can show you guys. Bit of fiddling later, and that's still in perfect time. That is in perfect time now, and the timing mark down there is still perfect. So now I'm ready to pull those bolts out again. I think I just have the thermostat housing bypass hose to get off, and then I think there's some vacuum lines on the other side, and we should be ready to start lifting the head off. Up until now, we're pretty much done the easy part. Now let's try and get the head off. These studs swell, like I talked about before. I have a bottle jack on each side. We're going to start putting a bit of pressure on both sides, seeing if it starts to budge. Possibly. I think I might be starting to move up here. I'm going to reposition this one a little bit, because they're sort of in the same position on both sides. See if it will move here up front. Oh. I can get my fingernail underneath the front of that. I'm just going to work back and forth, try and get it to start to budge. As soon as it starts to budge, pretty good. One thing we can do as well, we can take a soft copper punch, and we can punch these a bit, try and shock everything a little bit, and get that to where a block of wood here. I might actually do that right away. Where did my hammer go? Okay, let's see. Okay, and we'll do the other side as well. I'll move back and forth and I'll report back when we have a bit more movement. I think we're starting to get some movement if you look here. Yeah, it's lifting pretty good now. I'll probably get this in the comments. Yes, there are better penetrating fluids than WD-40. It's the weekend. That's what I have at home, and I don't feel like going anywhere. It's a snowstorm as well. I'm being a bit lazy on the other side. I don't have such a good place on the other side to raise it, just because I don't want to remove the starter. Really, behind the starter is one of the best places. So you go behind the starter and there. That usually lifts the whole thing up. We'll see what happens. Otherwise, I might have a bigger one. I might put there. See if we can get the rear up. But let's see what happens when we lift on the other side. It's loose on this side. That's pretty good. Oh, it's moving in the rear. That's not bad. We may pull the starter. We'll see. Let me see if I have another jack. I think I do have another ball jack. I'll put that in the rear. See if that will push it up. 3 might be the trick. That's coming up here as well now. See, that one's loose. So now we just gotta go around and around and around. Try and lift it up as flat as possible. But it's coming up nicely, but this is pretty much impossible on a stuck cylinder head like this one to do it in any other way. Now it's really getting unstuck. I'll lift on the other side as well. And I think where it was actually most stuck was these two and around here. So once those let loose, they're really starting to come up. And now, I mean, get my hand under there. So we're pretty close. It's coming up really nicely now. It is still the most stuck in the rear for some reason. But we're starting to, I mean, I can see under it now. Oh. So you kind of just do a bottle jack at a time until you sort of feel like it's stuck or you can't do more in that position. Then you move on to another one. And another one. And yeah. Pretty good. We're almost there. Looking really good. And I just need to take a little bit of break to prepare for the worst bit, which is lifting this off. And I'm also going to make some space on the workbench so I have a place to set the head down. Remember, you can never set them down completely flat. You'll bend valves. So I'm going to lay out some cardboard as well because it's full of this nasty oil. I think we'll lay it down on this side once we get it off. Got the cylinder head down on the ground here. I'll bring it up on the bench later. I believe it was these two cylinders from looking at it previously. The only thing I'm noticing is, if you see here, you have the combustion ring around. It's cleaner here, cleaner here, here as well. So that's pretty interesting. There also, though, that might be nothing at all. But let's have a look at the head gasket. So, nothing too weird that I can see. Remember when I was looking into it, it looked like it was leaking over here. But let's see if we can pull this gasket off one-handed. Now, I'll set you guys down, pull the gasket off, and have a closer look at it. All right, here we have, this is the top. And I'm not seeing anything obvious so far. It's really difficult to tell. So, oil can only come from the big returns back here, and they look weird. Like, what's this in here? Never seen that. It's like the gasket has been falling apart there, so that's odd. It is like flaking apart in certain places, the gasket, which is weird. Other than that, I'm not seeing anything. You see, we have the same thing here. It's a bit cleaner right there. It's a bit cleaner right there. But it's like that on most of them, so I'm not sure if that's just... could be a thing now during winter when you're running a lot of choke. I'm not sure. This is a complete guess. What if it's a lot of rich, air with a lot of fuel in it coming in, washing it because this is the intake side, or nothing looks really steam cleaned. Bores and everything are fantastic. You can see all of the machining marks and everything, cross hatching. I'm going to get some towels. We'll clean this up and have a look, and I'll clean up the head as well. See if we can see anything at all. I haven't found any massive issues. I found one weird thing, but modern gaskets are thick enough to fix that. If you have a look here, if you see that down there, there's like a little, something pushed into there, but I really don't think it's been leaking there. Because if I have a look at the head gasket in the same position, you can see that the gasket has filled out that. However, here, I think we have the problem. I think that coolant passage there. Because if you have a look at this, I don't think there's anything wrong with the cylinder head. We'll check that, of course. But the gasket, in many, many places, it's like falling apart. It's really, really strange. So something is bad with this gasket. Also, I will be using the newer gaskets that have, the inbuilt. There's a silicone sealant around here that melts the first time and seals everything. And that is just much, much better than these gaskets. So I think that's going to be fine. Yes, this is a Series 1 block, and they're not the ones prone cracking, but yeah, there's cracks between the cylinder liners. Nothing can do about that. Most engines like this have cracks. Most of them are fine. There's no budget for a full rebuild at the moment. I think we'll clean it all up, put it back together. If it were to fail again, we'll have to rethink our strategy, but I've put together a few of these engines with these cracks in them, and they're still running today. Most likely that crack was there during the rebuild. And it seems like it's fine. Well, that's it for this video. Bit of a struggle getting that cylinder head off. It was pretty stuck there for a while, but it's off now, and I'm going to have a look at the head with a straight edge and see that it is straight. If it is, clean it up, put it back together, we're going to flush out the block, and I just thought of an idea that I don't want to waste, too much money and stuff. So we'll empty out the contaminated oil, and then I have some pretty clean used engine oil. I'm not going to run it, but we can just pour that up through the top where the chains go, just to flush out everything from the block. The head will be flushed out on the bench, and then we put it all back together. We can add a liter or two of new oil to flush everything out, and then add the correct oil. I think we should be fine. So I need to do that. I need to make a part star run with some oil. Where I'm going to run some parts store oil in it now when it's going back together in case something is wrong with it. Regular coolant and all of that. I'm going to have a look at a couple of hoses that, is 4 or 5 years ago, puts back together. So some of them are getting a little hard. Replace some of those. Have a look at some other things and put it back together. But the cylinder head looks really, really good. No real oxidation anywhere. And I mean, if I find something for the next video, we'll show you guys, of course. So, are we building a perfect car? No. Are we building a daily driver? Yes. If the other gasket lasts 4 or 5 years and something happens again, I'm a bit okay with that. But I have one of the new thick composite gaskets with the extra silicone and everything. One of the best gaskets you can get for these engines, and they will take up some imperfections as well. So that should be really good. And like I said, there's something wrong with this gasket where, sadly, I couldn't really show it on camera because I was, messing with the gasket before, but there are edges and bits of it, they're sort of falling apart. So something's gone on with that, which is a bit odd. Anyways, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with friends. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. It really does help out a lot. And hit the hype button if you're on a mobile device. Until next time, I'm Adam. This is Living with a Classic. I'll see you soon.